بتواصل القراءة. إذا رأى خلية النحل ولم يكن شاهد
قبل لكثرت حيرته لعدم معرفة فاعله.
إذا قرأتي بالتصحيح ما رأيك تصحيحي في مكانه يجوز؟
لكثرت حيرته is yeah, it suits more.
Yeah, I couldn't make any sense of لكثرته حيره لكثرته حير. أنا متأكد أن هذا غلطة، يا غلطة مطبعية يا غلطة حصلت في المخطوط في قديم الزمان، فشبه متأكد أن هذا لكثرت حيرته صحيح. So would you agree? Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. Because okay. So من يحب يقدم لنا ترجمة لهذا؟
Yeah.
Fadl.
If you help me with one word.
Yes.
Sorry, my English was failing me. What is خلية نحل in English? خلية نحل in English.
It's what you would expect.
A bee cell.
Yeah.
Beehive.
The beehive is the whole thing. It's the beta nah. It's a cell.
It's a cell.
But a cell of what? It's not a bee
wax
cell.
A wax cell, or
I think you'd have to say cell of the honeycomb, or just cell. I said an example is that of a person. Oh no, sorry, you haven't read yours.
an example is when a person sees a cell, having never seen one, he would be confused by its creator.
Yes, I said an example is that of a person contemplating. I put a bit more into the word ra'a for the first time, a cell in a honeycomb. Yes, bee cell, it doesn't really work in English, but a cell in a honeycomb or a cell in a beehive, yeah, that would work. And I said I'd started a new. I'll give you my translation afterwards. If he were unacquainted with what had made it, he would be extremely perplexed. لعدم معرفة فاعله. If you were unacquainted, if you did not know who or what had made it, كثرت حيرته. His perplexion would be great. Another word for perplexity, what did you say?
I said confusion.
Confusion, yeah.
I wrote, he would be in a great confusion.
Yeah?
I wrote filled with curiosity.
Can it have the meaning of, if you're muhtar,
Confused.
you're confused, but kind of confused wanting to stop being confused.
Yeah.
So I think confusion is maybe a bit better, but it does suggest that you would be curious. Okay, who would like to read on? Volunteers? Yes.
Should I continue where you stopped?
Yeah, if you go on فلو علم
فلو علم أنه من عمل النحل لتحريره أيضا من حيث إن ذلك الحيوان الضعيف كيف أحدث هذه المسدسات المتساوية الأضلاع التي عجز عن مثلها المهندس الحاذق مع الفرجار والمسطرة.
والمسطرة, okay. So, any problems with that sentence? في تحديات أو مشاكل أساسية. أنا يمكن أقول أني جملة طويلة بالإنجليزي يمكن تحتاج إلى تقسيم إلى جمل قصيرة. ومن حيث المفردات المتساوية الأضلاع.
Equilateral hexagon.
Yes, I saw that. I was very impressed. Equilateral. مش ضروري تقولي equilateral. يمكن تقولي of equal sides. Equilateral طبعا المصطلح العلمي فهذا النص علمي. It's in its place. Would you like to offer us a translation? You know, just from.
There are some words I'm not sure.
All right. Yeah. Any other words?
Like المهندس الحاذق.
الحاذق. Any suggestions?
I know that it's trying to give a metaphor example of how a bee works, you know, but حاذق, I don't know what it means.
What does it mean roughly?
It's that the bee can do something that even an engineer, that even with all his knowledge, a bee can do it without that knowledge.
Yeah, and I mean, effectively, that's what حاذق is, having a lot of knowledge.
Means a lot.
Yeah, it's I forgot.
Sharp.
Sharp, yes.
Competent.
Confident, sharp.
Competent.
Competent, okay. I said, what did I say? I said expert. Which do you think is best? Having a lot of knowledge, expert, competent, sharp.
In this context, I'll use sharp.
Yeah, I actually like sharp. All right, top of the class. Sharp. I'm just thinking, it's kind of quite a. It's not exactly high prose, but it's a bit scientific. So maybe a kind of more official word, if you like.
Qualified?
Qualified, yes. I'm thinking of meaning sharp, exactly.
Is it intelligent enough?
It means having intelligence, but somehow al-hidq is penetrating, it's sharp, so it gets to the, maybe other words. I prefer your sharp to my expert. It's much better. I'm thinking you could make it even better with acute. It means exactly the same as sharp. It's kind of more scientific, maybe acute-minded, but then that's longer. Astute. But, I'm very much of the belief that there isn't one exactly right way, that you have to kind of try them all and see, but definitely for sense, I think sharp is. Could you talk about a sakin hadik? So it's not literally sharp.
It's sharp-minded.
Yes. It is not literally sharp. Yeah, maybe acute. But as you like. All right. Yeah. And any other words? What about al-firjar?
When they say al-musaddasat, that's not exactly what it means, or what it means in this context.
I think it's exactly what it means in this context.
Maybe like the needle bee, the bee.
It has six
sides by hexagon.
Six hexagons, exactly.
It's just called musaddasat.
Yeah. أو
سداسي.
شكل سداسي صح. يمكن الآن في هذا الأيام نفضل شكل سداسي. Yeah, 6 shooters.
Yeah.
But no, it does exactly mean here in this context the الأشكال السداسية. Okay. So, كيف أحدث هذه المسدسات كيف أحدث how would you say that?
Build.
Yeah, maybe build or constructed.
Created in this case, because it's created.
I think it's got a touch of creation, and it's got a touch of, you know, even something divine about it. And I don't say that lightly, because there's no, I wrote it down. I have to find it. It's from Surah An-Nahl in the Quran. And I think actually all of this is a kind of unstated reference to it. How is your Quranic memory? وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ Your Lord, أوحى, inspired إِلَى النَّحْلِ, inspired the bees, and so on, and then there's more of the ayah. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتًا لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. So, you know, I'm very, very conscious of this whole passage actually being itself inspired from this, and I think the word create for أحدث is very much in its place. But I think you could say in English create without encroaching on the divine prerogative. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
And somehow I don't think he would have said khalaqa.
Yeah.
No.
In Arabic it wouldn't fit.
It wouldn't fit. But ahdatha is also creation, but somehow on a lower level. And then if you go deeply into it, you're getting back to Neoplatonist thought, and I hadn't thought of this before, but the demiurge. Anyway, we won't go down that route. It's a long, complicated philosophical thing. But I'm sure you're right to say created. Did I say it? I don't know. I probably didn't.
Created in Arabic is khalaq.
Khalaqa or ahdatha. I think you can say ahdatha Allahu al-kawn.
For God, we'd say khalaqa.
You would
for
always
anyone
say.
else, like for the bee in this case, it would have created but ahdatha.
Yeah, so it's like a second degree of creation. Al-khalq مخصص للخالق. الإحداث لما خلق الخالق.
Okay.
I mean, that would be would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know ahdatha is like happening.
Yeah, well, hadatha is more happening. I actually said he would be perplexed or confused at how so feeble a creature, so weak a creature, could have brought into being. And brought into being, it's kind of, it actually works, I think. Because there's a touch of something divine about it. I will give you this later, and then you can look at it closely at home. Yeah, did you finish? كيف أحدث هذه المسدسات المتساوية الأربعة التي عجز عن مثلها المهندس الحاذق مع الفرجان والمسطرة. Yeah, could you? Yeah.
ومن أين لها هذا الشمع الذي اتخذ؟
عفوا أنا كسيد الإنجليزية.
Okay,
yeah.
That the engineer, the shop engineer,
Yeah.
he cannot do, or he's limited to it. Ajaza.
Yes, yeah.
With all, or for jar, it's a tool, right?
It's a
And
kind of
mastar.
tool.
Mastar, is both are tools, I think.
Yes.
Engineering tools.
Yeah, mastar is for making sutur.
Yeah.
And al-firjar,
Is it like, I don't know, maybe bulldozers or cranes?
it's in Yemen where I live, so I hope my Arabic is understandable to you.
Yeah, it is.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. We would call it firjal with a lam, but I guess I think this is the fasih. But it's probably Farisi. I don't think it's Arabic.
I'll just get the name of the tool.
كلمة معربة using
Is
the
it? We
Farisi.
used it at school.
Oh yeah,
so-
معربة في قديم.
Yeah, I know. I
Um,
thought it's in Arabic.
it's
Thing that you draw a circle.
yes, it's one of these.
Protractor?
No,
Who's the compass? Yes, yeah, it's a compass. Yes, yeah, so there's a sharp-minded muhandis.
Engineer. Architect.
Could be architect, could be engineer. Any other
Builder, creator.
An artist.
artist? It's I've got something between artist and a muhandis is really somebody who draws to build buildings.
Rassam.
Yeah, I said actually draftsman. A draftsman is a rassam, a drawer,
Yeah.
but particularly for designs of buildings and
A sketcher.
a sketcher of buildings and of engineering and things like that.
It is from the Persian.
It is from the Persian, so I was right. Okay. Please, if I come up with these ideas that I'm wrong in, tell me you are wrong.
Is it like craftsman?
Yes, and that's the word I used actually. A draft is a drawing. It's another word for a drawing, and a draftsman. It's really a muhandis, rassam handisi.
In the old times, for people who build aqueducts and stuff, what do they call them? Engineers? No, for sure no.
Yeah, civil engineers. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong to say engineer for muhandis, not at all, no. And you wouldn't be wrong to say architect. I just feel that draftsman, it's kind of between all the three, and it's also near to what you said, which was artist, because draftsman is specifically about drawing shapes. I mean, Abu Muhammad al-Sayrafi, my sort of Yemeni father, adoptive father, he was like one of the most famous joiners in the city, very old-fashioned, and he did all these beautiful carvings. So he would sit down and he would design them, and he was at the same time a draftsman and a najjar, a joiner. So you can combine them. Who would like to go on? ومن أين لها هذا الشم? Volunteers.
I can read it in Arabic.
Yeah, no, please do.
ومن أين لها هذا الشم الذي اتخذت منه بيوتها المتساوية التي لا تخالف بعضها بعضا كأنها أفرغت في قالب واحد. ومن أين لها هذا العسل الذي أودعته فيها ذخيرة للشتاء. وكيف عرفت أن الشتاء يأتيها وأنها تفقد فيه الغذاء.
وكيف, and yeah, no, we have more, thank you, yes. I wonder if it's كأنها أفرغت على صيغة المبني المجهول. Yeah. I've read it in both ways, but it's probably كأنها أفرغت في قالب واحد. أفرغت. Yeah, it's probably a مبني المجهول, I guess. Yeah, who would like to offer a from the back of the room, translations? Who would like to?
Should I?
Yeah, okay.
From where do they, as in the bees, or do these bees, have the wax of which they have made their equilateral homes that do not differ as if made of the same mold?
As if made
Of the same mold.
of the same mold, yes. How do you spell mold?
And I think M-O-U-L-D.
Yeah, British English we write. American English is without the U. Yes, for a قالب. Okay. Anyone else go on? ومن أين لها هذا العسل الذي أودعته? Yeah, that's المبني المعلم. Yeah.
From where it had the honey that it saved for winter.
Yes. أودعت فيها ذخيرة.
But it's more like not where, it's more like how, right? How.
Yeah.
But even though it says where, but it has a feeling of how did they get that.
Yeah, how did they get that? Would be good to put it that way, don't you think? How did they get the honey?
For winter.
For winter, yes. And you're right to say saved up,
Saved up.
because it's a ذخيرة.
Because it continues with I think it continues with the next line, وكيف عرفت أن الشتاء, for how did it know that it's coming winter?
Yes.
And it has to save for lunch, I think. I'm not sure.
And that they would lack in it in the winter this غذاء. How do you say for it?
Like it's rare to find food during winter.
Yeah, and yes, they would be unable to find food or sustenance. I said they would lack sufficient nourishment. Okay, and وكيف اهتدت إلى تغطية خزانة العسل بغشاء رقيق ليكون الشمع وحيدا بالعسل من جميع جوانبه. Would anyone like to put that into English? Do you know, we haven't introduced ourselves properly. I'm very... Tim.
Saida. Saida.
Saida.
Saida.
Saida.
Everyone calls me Saida. So
All right, it's my blocked
Saida
ear.
as in dominant, unfortunately.
Ah, Saida, all right. Yeah, I have an entirely blocked ear, so I only have half hearing. Saida.
No.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yes, all right. Fatima.
Muhammad.
Hiba.
Hiba.
Sanjana.
And Sanjana, all right. So, Saida. No. Fatima. Muhammad. Hiba. And Sanjana. And Omar.
Julian.
And Julian. All right. So we have a good collection of names. So would you like to give a version?
I'm just a beginner.
Oh, all right. Well,
I can only understand خزانة العسل because we have the same word in Urdu as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's treasure, honey, and I don't know. I'm not really a good translator.
All right. Well, you are well on the way to understanding what it means. If you can get that.
Like, how did they manage to get this treasure?
Yeah.
Of of honey.
All right, it's something like khazana is not only for treasure; it can be for anything.
Stores.
A store, yes.
Store of
Well,
honey.
كيف اهتدت? How
do they store the honey?
how they
How
were
do they-
اهتدت.
Yeah,
How do they manage it?
When
How did they manage?
How was it gifted?
No, they're inspired. They're inspired.
Yeah, it's almost how were they inspired? What did you say, Saad?
Gifted.
Gifted. Can it mean gifted? Ahtada. I was taking it from min al huda, min al guidance.
And it is as in it is being gifted. So how was it gifted to cover the honey storage, or to be able to cover the honey storage?
Is it the same verb in Arabic? I mean, I know it's the same triliteral root, huda and hadiyah.
I think hidayah, like,
I was thinking it was
Guided.
min al hidayah or al
Guided.
huda
yeah.
rather than from al hadiyah. But you could be right.
But if you see it, I mean, it gives a feeling of knowing, because you can't say it be guided itself,
No,
right? It was guided. I mean, it says okay for how it was guided.
yeah, that's how I took it myself. But it's all because I thought of that al-ayah min Surah al-Nahl from the Quran, which is talking about inspiration and guidance and that kind of thing. So that's how I read it. You could be right. I mean, I wrote. Yeah, I said exactly what you said. What inspired them to seal taqtiyah? What inspired them to seal each store of honey with so precise a ghisha'in? What is a ghisha'?
A thin layer.
Yeah. Layer.
A layer, yes.
Yeah.
A thin layer. I went a bit poncy and I used a kind of scientific word. I said an integument, but you don't have to use that. It's integument or not a skin. There's another word. A membrane.
Remember?
Yeah, membrane is a sort of ghisha. It's a thin layer anyway. بغشاء مخيف ليكون الشمع محيطا بالعسل من جميع جوانبه. Who would like to? That's quite clear, I suppose. Yeah, by this thin membrane, so that the wax would surround the honey from all sides. فلا. Who would like to read on? Yeah, no, please.
فلا ينشفه الهواء ولا يصيبه الفأر ويبقى كالبرمية.
I think it's
برمية
Barniya with a fatha, I think. I didn't write it in.
ويبقى كالبرمية المنظمة الرأس، فهذا معنى العجب وكل ما في العالم بهذه المثابة.
Yeah, who would like to?
So, whatever it was covering, the membrane, it will not be touched by air. It will not be touched by air. What is it called? I'm not sure, but from this context, I can get that it does not expire or it does not get.
It does not rot.
it does not contaminate the
It's not.
contaminate the
Yeah, but what is al-fa'?
Eaten by mouse.
Yeah, al-fa' or al-fa'.
So it means attack. Being
It
attacked.
means, I'm sure it means 100% al-fa'.
What does it mean again? Sorry.
Yeah, mouse.
A mouse.
Yeah.
Mouse is that.
A mouse or a rat.
Rat.
Yeah.
No, rat is something else.
Rat is-
Al-fa'ir is a mouse.
But
And,
it's
Oh.
not
rat
the
is a
context,
jargon.
is it?
I always had this argument.
Yeah.
I always have this argument with people in Yemen. They only use the word fa', and they think the small ones are the babies of the big ones. And I said, no, that's really different.
Jar.
الجرذ is the rat.
Al-Jarth,
جرذ.
Yeah.
Al-Jarth, yes, of course. But I don't, in Yemen they don't use it, probably here. Any of you Emiratis? Well, that Emirati? Oh, okay. So I would not be surprised if they didn't use Jarth. But it could be rat, it could be mouse, probably mouse, it should be mouse. So that mice cannot get to it. ويبقى كالبرمية كيف تشكيل الكلمة؟
المنضمة الرأس.
المنضمة الرأس, yes, المنضمة الرأس. بالضاد. Yeah. So and it would stay like a.
It's like a turban.
Oh, it's strung together, right?
Like a what?
It's like they're both strung together. It would remain intact.
Yeah, but what is this barnier? I mean, I don't expect anyone to know it. It's.
Is it not the turban on the head?
And what did you suggest now?
Like a hat.
Somehow it sounds as if it should be a hat.
Yeah.
I thought of it as the cup of a pot.
Yeah, it is in fact. I mean, I had to look it up. Well, in the sense I'm a cheat because I prepared these in advance, and so I looked up the difficult words. But it is a pot. It's some kind of a pot. I think with quite a narrow opening.
Like a container.
Yeah, a container. So it's al-Mandamma
Yeah.
with a al-Mandamma al-Ras.
So al-Ras here, it's not the literal meaning, not head. It
It's-
means like example, right?
It's the head of the
Pot.
of the pot.
Yeah.
So, if it was like that, I think a barnier is probably something like that shape. So it's Mandamma al-Ras. It'll have a seal closing it.
Yeah.
A vessel.
Yeah, it's a kind of vessel. I think you would be right to say a vessel or a pot. But it sounds as if it should be. Why do you think it was? Well, I know why you thought it was a hat. What do you call the hats that soldiers wear?
Neva.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
It was suggestion
Yeah,
from
yeah.
that. And when you said it, I thought, it does sound like, but it's Bernita.
Yeah.
Yeah. فهذا معنى العجب وكل ما في العالم بهذه المثابة. So, and this is the meaning of wonder, and everything in the world is.
This has this long word in English.
Yes.
It has this. It's like explaining fascination. Mathaba, I think. I'm not sure.
There's a good longish word meaning mathaba. If I give you some watches are digital, my watch is not digital. It is analog, and I think a mathaba is an analog. If you want to be scientific, I mean, I said such is the meaning of wonder, and everything on earth is analogous to this example.
I think here what it means كل ما في العالم بهذه المثابة, it means everything in life, something to wonder about, to be astonished about. بهذه المثابة we usually use it as the same.
Yeah. I mean, I would say كان أبي محمد بمثابة
Exactly. Exactly.
بمثابة أب لي.
يعني نفس الشيء.
Yeah.
It means نفس الشيء.
But with a wondrous touch, I think, right? It's like with the fascination of touch, even though it's the same thing, but with admiration or with something great.
Yeah.
It's like you look to this world in greatness or in fascination or.
Like it's magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's precisely what it means. That I mean, he's saying if you went out and looked at everything with these fresh eyes, you would see the wonders of creation in everything.
But may I? What does the mouse have to do with this context?
something very, very, what do mice do?
But it does not fit at all. I mean, even if you put it in an example or a metaphor, it does not fit the context of فَلَا يَنْشُفُهُ الْهَوَاءُ وَلَا يُصِيبُهُ الْفَأْرُ. It will not be hit by a mouse.
Not hit.
Is it a symbol of dirty?
Sorry?
As in,
Is it a symbol of dirty or is it
A symbol of?
dirty?
No, I mean, I think it's very, very literal that mice will not.
Because it does not fit. Because when you say وَيُصِيبُهُ الْمَرَض, and a sickness will hit him, right? Like, that's the literal translation. But when you say يُصِيبُهُ الْفَأْرُ, it gives that same context way, even though it literally means, I think it's different.
I think it's maybe a slightly old-fashioned usage of the word. I don't find it very surprising, but I mean, you could be right. I mean, maybe al-far is an incorrect reading.
Maybe it's past.
Yes.
It could be past.
I mean, that's the way I read it, but Muhammad could be right to question the reading of al-far, and maybe it should have been another word. وَلَا يُصِيبُهُ something like a darar or
Something like that.
I mean, a darar is a long way from far in writing, but you have to ask these questions when you are editing this book that I just edited. There were a lot of places where I had to ask similar questions. I mean, I don't find it strange. وَلَا يُصِيبُهُ الْفَأْرُ. So that I would say, so that a mouse could not get to it, could not reach it, get into it. We don't really use asaba these days in quite that literal meaning, but you could be right.
Because what I'm trying to do is let's say I'm reading the first sentence in English translation, and I'm going to put the mouse there, then continue it. So it's like فَلَا يَنْشُفُهُ الْهَوَاءُ, and air will not touch it, for instance. وَلَا يُصِيبُهُ الْفَأْرُ, and the mouse will not attack it or eat it, bite it. وَيَبْقَى كَالْبَرْنِيَّةِ الْمُنْدَمَّةِ, so it will remain intact or strong.
Like a seal, hot.
So it feels like it makes sense from the beginning, middle no, the ending yes.
Yeah.
Like the beginning and the ending fit each other, but the middle does not fit the beginning, neither does it fit the end. I'm reading just a sentence.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're getting at. I think if you question the reading like that, you could only really question it by going back to the manuscript, and then you would have to look at the word, and kind of think, what could it have been? Al-ar. It could be a tahrif of another word. It could be, but you could only establish that by going back to the Batuta al-asli, and then a silsilat Batuta. I mean, I'm happy with this myself. I wasn't happy with the one where I wrote La Kathurat Hiratu above, because really what was written here didn't mean anything. But no, you're right to ask these questions. Maybe not in this place, but otherwise. I mean, this very, very old travel book that I've just edited, there are lots of places where people have completely mashed up the readings, and where I was able to establish a truer reading by going back to the original manuscript. How is the time? Oh, we've got a bit more. Look, did you find that interesting to read that? I just thought I kind of think it's a beautiful passage somehow. It's, you know, it's not poetry, it's not saj'a, it's not, but it's somehow very beautifully written. And it comes at the beginning of this great book, A'ja'ab al-Makhluqat wa Gharaib al-Mawjudat, I think is the full title. And he's explaining exactly what al-ajab is. And as somebody, I'm really a travel writer. All right, I read Arabic as well, but I always wish I could look at things with these fresh eyes that he's talking about. And it's, you know, it's one of my favorite passages in this great big book. So, what should we do? Number 2, have you got number 2? Yeah. Take that home with you, because it's very short, and think what you would do with it. Sorry. Maybe we should just read it now in Arabic to see that we agree on how to read it. Who would like to read it? What did they say? You have to. It's somehow, I don't know if it's true, but somebody said in English you have to read it to know what it means, and in Arabic you have to know what it means to read it. صحيح الكلام هذا أو أنا بالنسبة لأي شاعر لازم اقرأ الكل قبل ما أنطق أو أقرأ بصوت مسموع. Who would like? All right, yeah, Muhammad.
Excuse me for that Arabic.
No, I'm sure it'll be.
لا تكره البرغوث إن اسمه البرغوث لك لو تدري فبره مص دم فاسد والغوث أيقاظك للفجر أيقاظك للفجر.
Yeah, would you agree with Muhammad's reading?
بر وغوث.
Yeah, the first part of the second hemistic, الشطر الثاني من البيت الأول. لا تكره
البرغوث, the mosquito.
Mosquito.
Yeah. So.
Is it a mosquito?
Yeah, because.
A flea?
It's a flea, yes. I always forget what is what, because certainly in Yemen we call everything different names. But a burghuth, actually you can read it as burghuth, or even birghuth, I think, but it's usually burghuth. It's a flea. It's one of these things which, you know, they're probably unknown in Dubai. We still have a few in Yemen. If you stay in the mountains and stay in a farm and with animals in the same house, you'll probably have baragith hopping over you. Yeah, it's the second half of that line. لا تكره البرغوث إن اسمه
بر وغوث.
بر وغوث. Yes. الرفع بر وغوث لك لو تدري. فبره
فبره مص دم فاسد والغوث إيقاظك للفجر.
I think it's فبره مبتدأ.
Is it? I don't know.
If it was majroor,
I think it's majroor.
how are you?
I think Dhamma.
You think Dhamma.
Yeah.
that makes us also sound as if we're ganging up
Right.
on the side. I mean, it could be, but I would find it difficult to find why it's majroor. I mean, I read it thus. I read لا تكره البرغوث إن اسمه بر وغوث لك لو تدري. فبره, and then he's explaining what's coming before with a new mubtada. فبره مس دم فاسد والغوث إيقاظك. It's with a kasra, isn't it? With a kasra, إيقاظك للفجر. So, I mean, literally, what does it mean?
What is Ghawth? I don't know what Ghawth means.
غوث is مساعدة.
Rescue. Rescue.
It could be rescue, عون, aid, help.
Like وكالة الغوث. وكالة الغوث UNRWA is aid, UN aid for refugees.
Is that what they call it? وكالة الغوث.
وكالة الغوث.
UNRWA.
Yeah.
I should know that because I know
It's
somebody
welfare
who.
and aid agency.
Yeah, الغوث. And bir.
But I think bir is something good.
It's definitely a good thing. بر الوالدين.
Being good.
Yes, it's something. It's being good. That's right. Cheat. Kindness. Kindness, goodness, niceness. So, do not hate al-burghuth, the flea or fleas, in the ismuhu, its name,
Good and rescue.
is good or goodness and help. Laka, for you.
Yeah.
If you knew it, if maybe we'd have to say if only you knew it. Yeah. Fabirruhu, its kindness is
Mostly them and passing.
yeah.
Section of bad blood.
Sucking blood, dirty blood.
Sucking dirty blood, or what? Another word for dirty,
Bad blood.
bad blood. Yes, maybe corrupt blood. Well, ghawth and its aid that it gives you is
Waking you up on the morning, right?
waking you up in the morning for
I think in this context, prayers.
you'd probably have to put in the word for al-fajr, salat al-fajr. It means
If you excuse me, I want to comment on this.
Please tell me exactly what you think about it.
When I told you the ancient poems shouldn't be translated, I meant this kind, like al-burghuth, bir-ghuth. So it doesn't make sense to English speakers. Like it's an Arabic word, like burghuth, and for us it's magical how like burghuth, it means, like they wouldn't get it. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
Not all the ancient, like
No,
they have
all right.
wisdom. They should
No, in a sense I completely
Yeah.
agree with you about this. And it's, do you think is it great poetry?
It might have been taken out of context, so it might be part of great poetry. But at the moment, it's weak.
It's weak. It's hardly even. I mean, it's kind of weak, and it completely relies on this wordplay of what you've got in front of you of that.
But it is part of a poem.
like it's
That's what
plays
it
with
says,
words.
so you don't know the whole.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's what is it from al-Musawi?
من رحلة الشتاء
الشهير
والصيف.
والصيف لمحمد بن عبد الله الموسوي الشهير بكبريت. I don't know why he was called Kibrit. Sulfur, yeah. But no, he only quotes these lines, and he quotes it because in his rihla, in his travels, he spent a night where he was أكلته البراغيث فكان يتذكر كل الأبيات الشعرية التي تذكر البراغيث. فمن بين الأبيات هذان البيتين. I don't usually use al-muthanna, but I did there. And there were others. But so really, I think Nauf and I are in agreement about this, that, you know, how can you make it work in English? It relies on this joke.
Playing with letters.
It's playing with letters, and is it impossible to translate?
No, it's not impossible, but it doesn't have a meaning. So.
Yeah, it's not impossible. Is it? I mean, I would always say you must try to translate. My British father, my real father, he loved things like this in English. So, I would have wanted to translate this for him, because he was one of these sort of old people who liked jokes like this about words. So I think we should try. And let me give you, I won't, because the time is going on. Where did I put them? Somewhere. Where did Jerry put them? Did you see me with some papers? Oh. I've probably put them somewhere, unless they're still in the office. Give me a minute.